Hey everybody, Neon here. When we look at fanfiction, it has its different levels of entertainment. Some are okay for a nice read, some are completely awful, opinions varying of course, and then there's some fanfiction so good they become their own franchises. Sometimes these franchises even have their own spin-off series, created by other creators. Just type in Fallout Equestria to fanfiction and you'll know what I mean. If you look back, I reviewed another franchise called The Little Pony Legend, a fanfic series of MLP and LOK created by Maggie's Heart Love. Today on the reviews, I'm going to be reviewing The Little Pony Legend Shadows of Ronin, created by BlueBlur92 and Maggie's Heart Love. You've probably heard of this writer before when I reviewed The Legends of Equestria, The Princess, the Queen, and the Mirror, so you might have heard the Shadows of Ronin off of that too. This story takes place 7 years after the 4th installment of The Little Pony Legend, and let me say that it's a great way to start off. Not only good in continuity, but also a great way to show the readers the past involvement with the story's main antagonist. The plot, to sum it all up, is about an ancient evil named Ronin, returning to the present world and basically causing havoc, and up to Team Avatar to stop him before it's too late. Overall, straightforward, but the execution is by far from that, mainly because of BlueBlur92's set of OCs that he placed in here, which mixes things up a ton for Korra and her friends. That is especially good here too. Most of the original stories, while trying to make things interesting thanks to the equestrian characters, still keep to what The Legend of Korra originally did in the overall sense. Shadows of Ronin, though, is its very own story, and as such, the whole plot is from scratch. I also like to say that Maggie herself confirmed that Shadows of Ronin is indeed canon to the Little Pony Legend franchise. How often does a spin-off like that get that kind of privilege? Speaking of original characters, I absolutely love them. The one that I love the most here is BlueBlur's main OC, and that would be the unicorn named Nova Nightshade. Nova Nightshade just screams a sort of anti-hero persona during his appearances, and he really doesn't care on who he's giving it to, even to Team Harmony themselves. Nova is the type of character that'd rather handle the big issue himself rather than drag anyone else behind him, and it shows numerous times. I know I'm making him sound like a jerk, which he honestly is for the first number of appearances, but his heart is indeed in the right place when it comes to the overall goal. For the main antagonist, I'm glad Blue and Maggie didn't make him a typical villain who just wants the world to crumble, and fleshes him out with layers of personality and backstory, not to mention keeping him rather smart. Other OCs in here include a fox spirit named Chai, 2 bits if that sounds familiar, the wolf Shade, who was the henchman to Ronin, and a few other characters who do mix things around. As for the original The Little Pony Legend characters, which include Korra, the main 6, and so on, they still give their own contribution to this as well. Unlike most spin-off stories, this one has the grace of being co-written by Maggie herself, meaning the main 6 and Team Avatar are kept in their original author's eyes and care. This story also shows Korra and Twilight's children, Akare and Iris, which are mainly more of a supporting role here and wanting to help their parents with the problem. To sum up the personalities, as far as I can understand, think of Iris as Twilight and Akare as Korra. At least that's what I got after looking them up anyway. As for the world and world building, BlueBlur and Maggie include a race called the Sorcerers, a sort of, shape-shifting spirit, who travel to Equestria rather than stay in the spirit world. The entire involvement of this race and Equestria is explained in one chapter as explanation for Nova's actions towards Leilani. And I'm glad Leilani is the one who said it rather than the typical villain explaining it around the end. Some more minor details were put in too, such as a chapter taking place during an event called the Day of Harmony, a sort of celebration for what Team Harmony did a la parade through Harmony City, which is Republic City is called at this point. Comedy here too is still mainly the same as it always has been, and since it is its own plotline and new characters, it goes off in different directions. As for stuff I honestly didn't enjoy, well, I can honestly only name one, and it might be a little nitpicky on my part, but heck, I'll just go anyway. At one point in the story, a new character is introduced named Nyx. No, I am not talking about that Nyx, but this one is an evil version of Korra's shadow. A scene plays out when the whole group mistakes Nyx for the real Korra. What turned me away for a second, though, is that Nyx immediately reveals herself through her sadistic mockery, and they immediately recognize her straight after that. You can take this how you want, but I'd give it more points if Nyx actually stayed mimicking Korra for a while and have Korra, I don't know, locked up somewhere, even for a little bit. At least then it can put the group in a false sense of security, and put the stakes even higher when she does reveal herself later. Just a thought. Looking at all this, The Shadows of Ronin is a standoutish sort of story. Not only in the story itself, but also in the process of being created in the first place. If you are a fan of the Little Pony Legend franchise, then this one will be a pretty good read for you, if a tiny bit more mature due to the concept matters. If you don't really mind that, then go on ahead and give it a look. I'll see you all later. Neon out.